Hello! Today we're going to be talking about some cozy, some uplifting, some comforting, some heartwarming, some cheering, upping stories, okay? Lately, I've been a little stressed out. I know I'm not the only one who likes to rely on their favorite TV shows and movies and books when they're feeling really stressed out. So here are some of my most comforting books and movies and TV shows in case you're feeling similarly stressed out and you need some recommendations. If you have recommendations of your own of books, TV shows, movies that cheer you up, please put those down in the comments below. I need all the recommendations right now. We're gonna start with books because that's what I talk most about on this channel, okay? When I'm looking for comforting books to read, here's what I'm looking for. Something with some magic in it. I like magic, okay? It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like there's hope in the world. Number two, I tend to read middle grade books when I'm stressed out for a couple of reasons. A, there are no ambiguous, unclear, uncertain endings in middle grade books. And right now, my life is uncertain enough. I need a book where I know how it ends. Thank you very much. And on top of that, it's a happy ending. So I don't need to worry about that. So that's why I tend to read a lot of middle grade books, okay? Now, into the list of cozy, comforting, mostly middle grade fantasy books. Number one is Harry Potter. This has been a favorite book series of mine since I was a kid. And that's all I'm gonna say about it because you know. If you like Harry Potter, if you grew up liking Harry Potter, but now you've got a sour taste in your mouth when it comes to Harry Potter stuff, no worries, I respect that. I'm gonna offer this book / series as an alternative to Harry Potter, if you're looking for one. This is called Peter and the Starcatchers. It is an origin story for Peter Pan, and it has that magical orphan boy who has to save the world feel to it. It's magical, it's whimsical. The first book in the series takes place mostly at sea. Peter and his other orphan buddies who become the Lost Boys, they're on this ship to go to another country to become servants. And along the way, this ship gets attacked by pirates, shipwrecked. They end up floating to this island that becomes Neverland. Peter learns to fly. It is magical. It is Peter Pan. It is pirates. The second book in the series I just finished a couple weeks ago. It takes place primarily in late Victorian London, so it has that Victorian London feel to it while also having this magic and whimsy of Peter Pan. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please go read this book series. It is so fun. I first read it when I was in middle school, loved the entire thing, and now I'm reading it for the second time because it's cozy and fun. Another book that I read as a kid that I find a lot of comfort in is Percy Jackson. This is about a boy who's a half-blood, which means his father is a Greek god and his mother is a human, and he has to go on these Greek mythology quests to save the world. There are 5 books that came out in the 2000s about this teenage boy, right? This teenage half-blood boy. But if you're interested in Percy Jackson, but you've reread the original series one too many times, I have some good news for you. There's a new trilogy of Percy Jackson books that is coming out right now, along with the Percy Jackson TV show. The first book came out last fall, and the second book should be coming out this year sometime. I read this first book. It's called Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods, right as shit hit the fan for me. And even though that was a very, very chaotic and stressful time for me, whenever I was reading this book, I felt like everything was gonna be okay. I was fine, I was not worried, I was not stressed, and that's what I need from a comfort book. You may have noticed that all 3 of the books I've mentioned so far have male main characters. Let's get into some books that have female main characters, okay? Number 1 is The Goose Girl. This is based on a fairy tale with the same name. It's about this shy, reserved princess who is traveling to another country to get married to the prince in this other country. And she's betrayed by all of the people with her, and so she has to find her own way to this new country. Along the way, she learns to be more confident in herself, and she finds her own power, which is just empowering to read about. And also in this series, there's this magic system where certain people can speak to different elements of nature. So our main character in The Goose Girl, she can speak with animals and the wind. Yeah, if you like that, if you read this and you like that, there are 3 books that come after this about different characters who also have this nature speaking Power. I reread these books so much when I was younger. Another book that I reread so many times is Ella Enchanted. This is a retelling of Cinderella, and it is way different and way better than the movie. So read the book. It is so funny. It is so sweet. It is so cute. It's based on Cinderella, but in this book, Ella is cursed so that she has to obey every command she's given. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's not. And so she's kind of grappling with this her whole life and is trying to figure out how to break this curse on her. Along the way, she becomes friends with the prince and falls in love with him. It's very cute. It was my favorite book growing up. The next book I want to talk about is Tress of the Emerald Sea. This was my favorite book of last year. I've talked about it a lot already on my channel, so I'm gonna keep this short. If you like The Princess Bride and pirates and really well thought out magic systems and like a funny, spunky narrator, this is the book for you. It has that similar feel of we have this quiet girl who then goes on this adventure, becomes stronger, becomes more confident. There's also just a little bit of romance, just a tiny bit, because she has to save the boy that she's in love with. It's so good. All right, moving on to the last fairy tale book that's centered around a female main character. This is called The Girl Who Drank the Moon. This is a middle grade fairy tale. So again, it's gonna end happily. It's gonna have a clear ending and you don't have to worry about that at all. This book is about this little town where every year a newborn baby has to be sacrificed to the evil witch who lives in the woods next to this town. Meanwhile, in the woods, we have this sweet, innocent old witch who is so confused at the town next door to her always abandons a newborn baby in the middle of her woods. And so she picks up the baby and she takes it to a different town where they will take care of it. It kind of plays with that trope of like the witch is always the bad guy. There are a couple of other characters and things that happen in this book where, because of just fairy tales that we've been told our whole lives, we think like this big bad dragon is gonna be equally big and bad, but it turns out it's not bad and it's really not that big either. And things like that. So it kind of subverts some like typical fairy tale tropes, which I think is really cute. Yeah, it's about a young girl who gets taken in by this witch, who learns to use magic and all of these things. I don't know what else to say about it other than you should read it. If you like fantasy at all, if you like fairy tales at all, ignore the fact that it's middle grade and just read it anyway, because it's very cute and definitely worth the read. The last book I want to mention is actually a duology of books. It's 2 books. It's the Monk and the Robot duology. The first book is called A Psalm for the Wild Bill, and the second book is called A Prayer for the Crowned Shy. This is a cozy fantasy. It is adult. It has Studio Ghibli vibes. It's very slow, very cozy. Not much is happening as far as a plot goes, but there is a lot happening within our 2 main characters, the monk and the robot. They're learning a lot about themselves and about the world around them and their place in the world. This is the perfect book for you if you are feeling stuck or if you are unsure of what to do with your life, or if you're just feeling burnt out. Read this book. I think this is perfect for you. All right, moving on to TV shows. I have 4 TV shows to talk to you about. First being How I Met Your Mother. I like to revisit stories a lot when I'm stressed out, and this is one that I have revisited so many times. I love this show. It is my all-time favorite show, so naturally I gravitate to this show when I am stressed out. This is a sitcom. Lots of people like to compare it to Friends. I think it's better than Friends. That's my personal opinion. Nothing against Friends, I just like it better. Sitcom that takes place in New York between 5 friends, and you just watch these characters grow through their like mid-20s to their mid-30s, and just the things they go through: breakups, losing jobs, finding new jobs, wondering what your purpose is, and moving and losing loved ones, and all of that stuff that like we all are gonna have to deal with at some point as we grow up, right? And so that's why I love this show. The second TV show we're gonna talk about is Ted Lasso. This one is just uplifting vibes all the way through. It makes me smile just thinking about it. There are so many times in this show when I was watching it that I actually laughed out loud. This show is about an American football coach who goes to the UK to coach a soccer team. There's a lot of like jokes about like the differences between American culture and UK culture, about the differences between soccer and football, and so there's just like a lot of jokes about that, but then it's just funny. All of the characters are super lovable. It's just a good time, man. It's a good time. Third show we're gonna talk about is New Girl. This show is a sitcom. It focuses around a very tight-knit group of friends, similar to Friends and similar to How I Met Your Mother, but this group of friends is just super quirky and super just, I don't know what else to say other than quirky. Each character has a very distinct and very like silly personality. Lots of people love it. Some of my closest friends never really got into it because the characters were so quirky and so silly and they almost felt cartoonish to them, which like I understand, but that's why I love this show. These characters are so ridiculous that this show gets me laughing in a way that other shows don't. Just because it's so ridiculous. Last show we're gonna talk about is Bluey. Yes, I am one of those adults that watches a cartoon made for children. And I love it, okay? There's a reason that so many adults love Bluey. When I'm stressed out, reliving little childhood moments and seeing the pure joy of these cute little cartoon puppy dogs, I feel that pure childlike wonder and joy vicariously through the little cartoon dogs, okay? And that's why I love it. I have 3 just miscellaneous recommendations, things that I've just been enjoying recently. Number 1 is Sabrina Carpenter music. Her music is very catchy and very boppy, and just like, I just gotta go like this or like dance a little bit when I listen to it, and that's the kind of music I need to be listening to right now. I like Taylor Swift. I know that there's a new album out, but I don't want to be analyzing music right now. I just want to be listening to it and bopping, okay? So Sabrina Carpenter, love her. Number 2 is a TikToker. I believe her name is Isabella Reeds. Here's her full handle. She makes videos on TikTok about books, specifically like fantasy, romantic-y kind of books. But I discovered her because she also has a series on her TikTok where she answers really silly questions that people ask her with Disney song lyrics. I love Disney. I grew up with those Disney cartoons. So the way that she just knows all the song lyrics, she knows all the quotes from these Disney cartoons and is answering people's questions with these quotes. Why didn't I come up with that? Why didn't I come up with that? Last is Elise Meyer's YouTube channel. She has been posting vlogs on YouTube for the last little while that I really like. They're just chill, they're just calm, they're mundane, and she's just sharing random little parts of her day. Her sitting down and painting a picture of an orange, or like going to a dentist appointment and being nervous about the dentist appointment and things like that. And it's just like small, simple moments in her day that she's sharing, but I really like it. Those are all of my comforting recommendations for you. I hope you check some of these things out if you're feeling stressed. I hope they cheer you up if you need cheering up. Yeah, just a reminder, if you have any recommendations for me, to put those down in the comments below, because I would love to check out the things that you find cozy, that you find comforting. If you're going through it right now, we're going through it together, and just know that this isn't gonna last forever. Things are gonna turn out for both of us. With all that said, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for listening to me ramble about books and movies and TV shows. I will see you next time. Bye.